Welcome back, fellas. So the other day I was filming a light technical session where I was working on over the bar mechanics. And I thought it would be a good idea to kind of just talk over what I was doing that session and the progressions and tips I used that could help you if you're struggling with the flop aspect of your jump. And technically, although flopping isn't that hard sometimes, getting that extra 15 to 20 centimeters of height with the flop over your scissor can be really difficult. First we start with 2-foot backovers. The idea here is to start stationary, remove speed, takeoff, everything else from the equation. Just feel what it's like to go over the bar backwards and attempt an arch. And while it is fun to measure these, it's basically useless to measure, as a 2-foot vertical jump has zero correlation to how high you can actually high jump. I'd argue there's only one real cue you need, and that's getting your hips up, or as I prefer to say it, hump the air. If you can get your hips up over the bar while going over backwards, that's like 95% of the gains you can get from the flop. The other cue is head/shoulders back. And I struggle with my head back a lot, but shoulders back seems to be a happy medium where I and you can keep your eyes on the mat or even the bar while still almost maximizing your flop's potential. So the same thing now, but with a 2-foot back over with a trot. So I've left in every jump, and you can see we start off here not even using the bar, just jumping onto the side of the mat, really focusing on the arch aspect, not thinking about the height. And the cues are always the same, as I said, per progression. It's hips up, head/shoulders back, or whatever you're comfortable with. You're jumping in from the side you run in from, obviously. And during the session, you want to keep the bar or the bungee low. You want to be focusing on the technique. It's not about the height, which is something I struggle to do a lot. Next is transferring this to a 1-foot takeoff. And the first progression is a single step 1-foot takeoff. Still focusing on mainly the arch, you're not getting a lot of speed in this, keeping the bar low. And once again, the cues stay the same, right? You get your head back, hips up. And me and Kate are doing these till basically we get a jump that we like. We're assessing each other's technique, where we're getting the hips over enough and whether we're actually getting the shoulder/head back. And you can see here from the clips I've left in, Caitlin was initially struggling with this on her 1-foot takeoff because she can't bring in a lot of speed this way. But by the end of it, she figures out the kinks and she gets a couple nice jumps over with a single foot takeoff from 1 step. The next is progressing to slightly further back again to just a 3-step. And it's the same thing, it's rinse and repeat. You're just moving back from a 1-step takeoff to eventually a 5-step takeoff, which we didn't even get to in the session with the amount of jumps that we did. And I think one of these jumps at the end here, for the first time, I'll probably freeze frame it. I actually get my head back with my eyes open and I see the horizon. And it was quite it was a cool experience, which is so funny considering how many jumps I've probably done in my career, if you'd call it. And by the end of it too, Caitlin's getting some really nice jumps where her shoulders and head are coming fully back and her hips are up right over the bar. But yeah, obviously none of this is revolutionary, fancy, or anything different. You've probably seen all of this before, and that's because high jump is simple, until it isn't anymore. But oftentimes improving in something so simple is about the maturity of decisions you make in training. If arching over the bar is something you struggle with, there is no quick fix. It's like learning a backflip. You break that shit down and repeat each component until you can do them without thinking. And that's the end goal, isn't it? To be able to flop over the bar backwards without even thinking. And yeah, there's other exercises and drills you can do. I'll put a couple on screen, but nothing will provide as good practice as actually doing the movement. And this is where the video should end. But what if you're flopping, and once again, you're not getting that 15 to 20 centimeters higher that I and other coaches promise? And that's complicated. There's a different answer for each jumper. Really, there are some unique problems out there. But the most common mistakes I see are jumping into the bar paired with poor takeoff angles/mechanics. And sorry if you're in the high jump Reddit, I probably used your clip, but to be fair, you posted it to Reddit, the front page of the internet. So jumping in the bar too early or having poor takeoff mechanics, these can lead to issues like poor rotation, meaning your legs drag it down or your ass doesn't actually get higher than your shoulders. And here's a couple examples of this. But the real question is, how do you fix this? Well, this isn't the video for that, because it's too much of an individualized issue. The most I can say is this example that Coach Dave the Man always uses. He always says become the stick. and that's referring to this clip. For a fraction of a second, when you plant, you want to be leaning away from the bar, everything in perfect alignment from your ankle to your hips, your core, so you can utilize the speed and lean you've built from your run up and curve to add extra force and rotation to your jump. All for free. So my advice would be record your jumps, freeze frame that shit, and see how you look. And it's honestly as simple as that. If your angles don't look like this, that's why your flop isn't where it should be. Once again, I hope this video has some value. I know it might be a bit simple, but cheers for watching anyway.